Once upon a time, in a beautiful, serene West African jungle village called Udu, the people lived near the rivers and streams. The villagers were always happy doing their day-to-day life. Their occupation was hunting, farming, and fishing. In the daytime, they go farming, fishing, and at night the hunters go hunting. The farmers go farming with their wives and children, while the fishermen go fishing with their grown-up sons. The king of the village, called King Azake, also has people farming, hunting, and fishing for the royal family. In the evening after their hard days, job and evening meals, they all gather outside their huts under the moonlight to listen to folktale stories told by the elders of the families. But in this happy and serene and beautiful village was a taboo about twin babies. They believe twin babies bring them bad luck. Any body that gives birth to twin babies will be sent into the evil forest immediately to go and live there with their family and their twin babies. But one day, a man and his wife had a set of beautiful, lovely baby boys, and they named them Tayo and Taiwo. This was supposed to be the happiest day of their life, but unfortunately, some villagers who heard about the news of the twin babies ran to their house to remind them of the taboo. For that reason, they immediately sent them away with their twin babies into the evil forest. This was to give them time before the news gets to the king of the village. Years passed. What was once a serene, happy village was now living in fear. Farmers can no longer go to their farms anymore. The fishermen cannot go fishing. The women cannot go to the market, while the hunters cannot go hunting. And the villagers cannot go to the rivers and streams anymore. This was because there was a monster called the dancing monster in the village forest. That whenever the villagers are on their way to the market, their farms, the rivers, and going hunting, the monster will jump out of the forest in front of the villagers to hypnotize them and make them dance by shouting out loud, "Dance!" The monster will tell them to dance, singing for them. They will dance and dance until they pass out. The villagers were now scared of going out. The forest where the monster is the path that leads to the farm, river, stream, market, and the nearby villages. This continued until there was famine in the village. Until one day the women said, "We cannot take this anymore. Enough is enough. We cannot fold our hands and watch our children go through the day without food and go to sleep on an empty stomach. We have to do something." So the women gathered themselves in group and went to the nearby village market to get all the items they needed. Quickly, they ran through the stream, the hills, and the forest. When the women got to the market, quickly they got everything they needed, and in group they set off for their village. Again running through the hills, the streams, and the forest to get back to their village. Just as they were about to come out of the forest that led to their village, the monster jumped out of the forest right in front of them and hypnotized them, singing for them and shouting at them to dance. And the women started dancing until they can no longer take it, and one by one they all fell down and passed out. When the warriors of the village heard about this, they were so sad and angry, and they started talking, saying, "Who and what is this monster? We cannot take this anymore. Why should we be afraid of it? We are warriors who have fought so many battles. We are going to that forest right now to fight and get rid of that monster." And then they all got dressed in their war attires, took their shields, their bows, arrows, and spears, and set off for the forest, marching and singing their war songs. As they got to the forest, suddenly the monster jumped in front of them, hypnotized them, and commanded them to dance, while singing for them, saying, "Dance." And the warriors started dancing for 2 days, no stop. When they cannot take it anymore, one by one they all fell down and passed out. When the villagers heard about their warriors' misfortune, they were not happy, and there was silence in the village. When King Asake heard about this, he said, "Enough is enough. I think it's time for me to go to that forest and send that monster away to the land of no return. I have a special wand given to me by my father, passed down to him by his ancestors. This special wand can do whatever I asked of it, so it's time to bring it out. The king went to his room where he kept the box containing the special wand and opened the box, brought out the special wand made of cowries. He got dressed in his special war attire, also passed down to him by his father, and set off to the forest. On getting to the forest, the monster jumped out right in front of the king and tried to hypnotize the king, saying, "Dance." But the king pointed his special wand at the monster, saying some incantations. "I command you to disappear from this village and the surface of the earth, and never to return, by the power bestowed on me by my father and his ancestors. Disappear." And the monster disappeared into the forest. And the king went back to the village to tell his people about the victory. As they were celebrating, a hunter ran into the crowed-faced the king and said, "My king, my people, I was lucky to have escaped the dancing monster. The rest of my co-hunters have been hypnotized by the monster." The king shouted, "Enough! What are you saying? The monster that I sent away, I saw the monster disappear." And the hunter said, "No, my king, the monster is still there in the forest, as I'm talking to you now. If you want, I can take you there right now." Just as the villagers were gossiping among themselves, two boys about the age of 12 jumped out of the forest nearby and ran to them and said, "My king, we can make the monster disappear forever." Everyone was silent for a moment and looked at the little boys, and suddenly they started laughing, saying, "You little boys, what can you do? If our warriors and the king cannot make the monster disappear, you think you little boys can send the monster away?" Just as the villagers were still talking, the king said, "Quiet," and he asked the two boys, "Who are you and where do you boys come from?" And the boys replied, "Your Majesty, we are the twin boys that this village sent away with their parent 12 years ago into the evil forest, and our names are Tayo and Taiwo. We are here to help the village." And King Asake asked them, "What makes you two think you can make the dancing monster disappear?" And the twin replied, "Because we have the spirit of twins within us, spirit of unity." And the king said, "Okay then, I give you boys the permission to go into the forest and make the monster disappear for good." And the twin demanded for plenty of food and water that will be enough for them, and set off for the forest, and the king sent some villagers to spy on them. As the twin got to the forest, one of them hid behind a tree, while the other one was looking and waiting for the monster. Suddenly the monster jumped out of the forest and said to the boy, "Dance!" And the boy started dancing. When the monster was not looking, the twin will swap places. When Tayo is dancing, Taiwo will be eating. When Taiwo is dancing, Tayo will be eating. The monster and the twins continued dancing for days until the monster was exhausted and could not take it anymore. Its eyes turned red and dizzy. Suddenly the monster fell down to the ground and passed out. After a while, the dancing monster disappeared. The villagers that were on top of the trees and behind the trees ran out and carried the twin boys, Tayo and Taiwo, rejoicing and celebrating. They took the boys to the king to break the good news. The king was so happy, and he said, "Thank you so much, Tayo and Taiwo. From today onward, our twin babies will not be sent to the forest anymore, and I'm giving you and your family a new home." He gave them a quarter of his wealth and sent some of his guards to the evil forest to go and bring the twins' family back to the village. The villagers were so happy, and the village came back to the once happy and serene village that it was before.